Yo, what up, Geminites? It's your boy Gemin, aka Genom, back at you with another recent reads. As you can see, I just got done reading Edge of the Venomverse and Venomverse. If you saw last night's show on the history of Spider-Man Part 2, you know that I'm a huge symbiote fan, a huge Venom fan. So I decided I better bust these out and start reading them now. So this kind of plays off of the whole Edge of the Spider-Verse and the Spider-Verse storyline back maybe a couple years ago. That's where we got introduced to like Spider-Gwen and all that. It just plays off it with the title and the way that these storylines are set up. But I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with it story-wise, but kind of bites it a little bit, right? So Edge of the Venomverse is just a way to introduce these new symbiote versions of heroes that we already know. And then Venomverse's actual main story. So from here on out, I'm going to be talking major spoilers. So if you haven't read this and you don't want to get spoiled, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. We're going to talk a brief overview of these two, and then we'll flip the camera around, look at the artwork, and get into much more detail. So in Edge of the Venomverse, we get introduced to a couple of alternate versions of heroes that we know that have the symbiote. First, we get introduced to the X-23 version of the symbiote. And in that one, we actually see how she gets it. And we'll probably look at it when we go up close. The next one is the Gwenpool Venom. So it's Gwenpool. Then we go into the Ghost Rider symbiote, which is called Host Rider. I'm not making this up. Then we get Old Man Logan Venom. So Old Man Venom. And then the fifth one we get is the Deadpool, the regular Venom Pool. Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's the first 5 issues. That's 1 through 5 of Edge of the Venomverse. And then there's an issue at the end, Venomverse War Stories 1, which is just a way to cram together Punisher and Rocket Raccoon into symbiote versions of those guys. These 6 issues basically show a little bit of an origin. Some of them don't have the symbiote and then they get it. Some of them are already the symbiote. And at the end of all the issues, they get sucked into this time dimension portal, whatever, by a symbiote Captain America who's like, welcome to the war, or some shit like that. So very similar to Edge of the Spider-Verse, I would say, where all those different Spider-Man are pulled in to this one dimension to fight this greater evil. And that's what we'll talk about, what happens in the actual Venomverse storyline. Venomverse, you get brought into this one Earth that's all damaged, and we find out that there is a kind of a predator to the symbiote. It's like a little white thing that looks like the thing from the Max. Probably seen when we look in there, but I forget what you call them, imps or whatever. These little harmless looking things, but basically if a symbiote comes in contact with it, it immediately takes over the symbiote and the host who's in the symbiote and becomes this hive mind kind of thing. So like it's funny, like all these heroes have symbiotes and they're all good somehow, and now this, what they call the poisons, are what the symbiotes were to the humans in the first place. I don't know. It just makes it a way to have good venomized versions of our heroes, and they have their symbiote villain, which is the poisons, right? So anyway, once they get overtaken by the poisons, they get all armored looking. They get some color back into them, and they look like kind of Power Ranger-esque. But they all have a hive mind, and their whole goal is to just wipe out all the symbiotes. It kind of plays a little bit like Marvel Zombies, where you have a venomized Doctor Strange who's calling in all these different venomized heroes from other dimensions in order to fight the poisons. But then come to find out, he's kind of really just bringing them in there so that the poisons can consume them. But he's not really doing it on purpose. They kind of made it seem like he was, but no, he really wasn't. So because this is like an alternate universe, they killed people, freaking, trying to think of some major deaths. It don't really matter. We'll probably see him when we start flipping through, because this is an alternate timeline. But you got Hulk is turned bad, Spider-Man is turned bad, Hawkeye's bad, Sabretooth. We see some people get changed right away. But basically, the big bad is a venomized, poisonized version of Doctor Doom who's trying to, do the Marvel Zombies plot. But that's basically a good overview. Now we'll flip the camera around. We'll take a look at the dope ass covers. That's the shit. And we'll flip through and we'll talk about some more storylines and all plots, all that good stuff. So flip around with your boy. All right, guys. So what I really want to focus on here is the cover artwork on these books is just awesome, right? So here's the cover to Edge of the Venomverse, which is the prequel to the Venomverse storyline. You got Venom on the front, in the middle, what's looking like Venom the Madness, looking like a She-Venom, Host Rider, Venompool, an Iron Man that we don't see, Wolverine, which we don't see. We see Old Man Logan, X-23, don't know who that is, whatever. It's just the cover of issue 1. We'll get a closer look at it. But it collects Edge of the Venomverse 1 through 5 and Venomverse War Stories 1, which is just like a one-shot, like I was saying. So let's see. Here goes solicit for Venomverse. You got the Rocket Symbiote, Host Venom. This Venom Punisher, that art is really good. That reminds me of the last couple of issues of the Remender Agent Venom run, where he trains Mania. So this cover, man, really great artwork of X-23. So this starts off as Laura Croft in whatever universe this is, and she's basically trying to leave her facility. And she puts her hands on this glass that says "Do not open, live specimen." She retracts her claws and it lets the symbiote out, and whatever, she becomes a Venom. So basically, they just give you these little backstories on these characters. That's all this is. You don't really need to know any of this stuff to read the main story. It just kind of adds to some character development. So at the end, though, they all get sucked in on themselves here. They get imploded. Something's pulling me. Sorry to hear it. And then, bam, Captain America. Time to forget your schoolyard fights. We've got a war to win. So anyway, that's kind of how all these 6 issues are going to end. Here goes Gwenpool. So this is my first time ever reading any kind of Gwenpool stuff. And I got to say, it was pretty funny. So Gwenpool knows she's in a comic book. She knows all the comic book cliches. I don't know how she already has the symbiote, and then she just goes all Gwenpool on him. And this is like a Daredevil team up with the hand, and it's just pretty funny, man. Artwork is pretty cool, cool, clean. Stupid shit. There's Matt Murdock. That's Daredevil. So it's just a fun little dumb story, and I think you see her. You don't even see her again until the end of Venomverse, when she's already taken over by a poison. Here goes your Host Venom. It's a dope cover, though, man. This one is the Ronnie Reyes Ghost Rider, and what's cool about him is that Ronnie Reyes has the Spirit of Vengeance Ghost Rider and the Venom symbiote. So what they've done was, the symbiote is the car, and they pretty much locked Ronnie Reyes in the trunk. So they said they only use him sometimes, but really it's just Ghost Rider, the Spirit of Vengeance, and the Venom symbiote in control. So I thought that was pretty sick. That's kind of like what the Poisons are essentially doing, but a little bit different. I'll talk more about them later. The art in this one was kind of wild. I didn't love it, but it was a pretty cool thing. So this is how they got Ronnie Reyes. They spit him out of the hood, and the car is the symbiote. So that was a pretty cool twist, I guess. Crazy cover for the Old Man Venom with the Venom Tyrannosaurus Rex symbiote. Cool stuff. Oh, by the way, so there's I guess I missed it in the Gwenpool, but there's Cap a symbiote Cap recruiting him. So this is cool, though. This really follows up off of the original Old Man Logan, where he rescues the Hulk baby, and you find out that's the Hulk baby grown up, and he basically resents him for killing Bruce Banner. So yeah, they have a cool Archangel thing here. A lot of this is follow-up from the original Old Man Logan. They bring the T-Rex out. with the Venom symbiote. So that's how Old Man Logan gets the symbiote, because the T-Rex eats him. But there's something about the symbiote senses his healing factor inside and leaves the T-Rex to go to Old Man Logan. He doesn't really look that good as a symbiote, to be honest, as a Venom. I forget the kid's name. Whatever, so that's how Old Man Logan gets called into the mix. Here goes, and you know, the Cap Venom coming through again. This was a good cover too, man. The straight Venom one. But this was a nasty issue with these kind of alien-looking worms. You'll see, it's kind of nasty, man, to be real. You can see already. He's fighting these parasitic worms. And then when he's fighting them, he sees the symbiote. So the symbiote and him remember each other from the that original What If Venom possessed Deadpool thing. And look at the symbiote turns into a heart. Happy to see him and shit. I think he looks different though, right? Than that original one. Unless there's that Back in Black. I never read that miniseries. That could be this Venom. See, look, this shit is nasty as hell, man. He's funny, man. I definitely, you know, like I've mentioned before that I'm not the biggest fan of the zany Deadpool, but I literally laughed out loud a few times reading this. I feel like there was something at the end here. So here goes him. He's getting teleported. And then he's with Captain America. So that War Stories, this cover is really good too. You got Black Panther, Rocket Raccoon, Ant-Man, Cap, and Doctor Strange. So I think this is only showing how we basically get... So it introduces Doctor Strange and what he's doing. And then we go into... Oh yeah, so we get this chick. So Black Panther gets killed by Rhino. This chick that's in a wheelchair who was kind of like idolizing this grasshopper, she gets the symbiote because Rhino was trying to transport it, and Black Panther knocks it out of his hand. And she kind of gets like the Flash Thompson symbiote thing where now she can walk, and her legs are grasshopper legs, but you don't really see her in the main storyline. So this is just kind of a little one-shot thing. Then you got Frank Castle. So that storyline was cool. So basically, he's out of weapons. He's out of ammo. Fisk got him. So Fisk wants to arrange a face-to-face meet to surrender some terms. And then Frank says, you know, you got yourself a deal. And Kingpin's like, ain't no deal. I'm going to kill you. But he's really talking to the symbiote inside of him. And he becomes that Punisher Venom. Very dope costume. I loved it. I loved his gun, how it's like the mouth. And he changes from like having a jacket to not having a jacket, like right here. So his deal with the symbiote is basically the symbiote will help him kill off every gang member, drug dealer, everything. And he just wants him to kill one person for him. So this is a crazy cool scene too, how he's hanging upside down. His symbiote forms into like a sniper rifle. And then he sees who his target is. Who do you think is going to be? Boom. Spider-Man. So he's arguing with the symbiote. He can't do it. The symbiote's like, you don't understand. I can pull the trigger for you. And then, boom, he gets teleported out. Then the last one is the Rocket Raccoon story. I didn't love it. You know, whatever. He fights Captain... I guess Captain Marvel or Captain Marvel is Captain America in this universe. I don't know if that's what she is in Legacy. So it's weird. At the end, they show Doom has the symbiote. He's overpowered, or he claims to have overpowered the symbiote. But next time we see him, he's taken over by the poisons in the main storyline. So whatever. Anyway, let's take a look at the cover gallery. So Francesco Mattina does that main cover. I don't know who this is supposed to be. It looks kind of like Anti-Venom, and I don't know if it's mixed with Storm. I mean, who else could that be with that costume like that? It's like Moon Knight, but a female. Inyuk Lee, dope artwork. Then you have that Gerald Perel Spider-Man 1 cover homage. This Gwenpool is a dope-ass cover by Greg Horn. That shit is tight. I wish they had trading cards for these. These covers are not as good. These are like hyper-realistic. Then you got an X-23, another Venom pool, which, come on, look at this shit. Can't come close to that. And these are just some regular bullshits. Alright, cool. So, Venomverse. I definitely like this cover. Who do you got here? Cap, Black Panther, Old Man Logan, Deadpool, Rocket, Doctor Strange, regular Venom. Oh, and Ant-Man right there. So, this just covers Venomverse 1 through 5. And that's what... So, that Spider-Man is in a universe where Spider-Man never got rid of the symbiote. So he's got a little bit of an attitude. He gets taken over by a poison, and he becomes like this white armored Spider-Man. Pretty dope. But you know, Venom is our main protagonist in this storyline. So those are our little poisons. The hosts before they bond with a symbiote. Poison. Anyway, sorry about that. All right, so. Yeah, so what they show here is basically Venom, Eddie Brock, fighting Jack-O-Lantern in the regular universe. I guess it's the regular universe. And then he gets sucked in with all those other guys that we just saw into the main fight. So cool stuff. I like this modern Venom. This is like the Venom that's ripped right out from the current run. Cool stuff. I'm digging it. I'm liking the Venom stuff. But just kind of like how Spider-Verse introduced all these different Spider-Man, Venomverse introduces all these different Venoms. So this is the poisons. The poisons can disguise themselves and make people look like how they want them to look. Like, that's how they trick people. Venom wants to save an innocent. They get Ant-Man by pretending to be his daughter. They're pretty fucked up. So I like how Cap throws the shield, but it comes back to him because it's still attached to the symbiote. Makes more sense than his regular shield retrieval, right? Anyway, we don't need to go through all these stuff. Here goes your hulked out version of the infected, whatever you want to call them. So there's Venom and the Blacks, the symbiote Spider-Man. Pretty cool interaction between those guys. No love lost, even though they're not from the same universe. So, boom. That's when Spider-Man gets taken over. It's kind of like an Anti-Venom, but he's more armored. Cover 2. The covers are not as good as in Edge of the Venomverse. Mary Jane's as a symbiote. So you have all these different symbiote Venoms. Now they're all linked up, trying to fight this common enemy. And here they go. So you can see that's regular symbiote Deadpool, where he goes and basically says, if you can't beat him, join him. And he's going to get taken over to become one of these armored out symbiote poisons, whatever you want. I don't know really the term for him. But really he does it just to become a spy, and he banks on he's crazy enough to where he won't be completely overrun by him. Oh, okay, so here we go. So basically, they're getting their asses kicked by these poisons. This is where Gwenpool comes back. And our Venom, Eddie Brock, has the idea that the only thing that could beat him is by bringing in Carnage. And Carnage is able to kill them, and that's basically the secret weapon. Then you get Carnage and Deadpool. And remember, Deadpool is like one of these guys now, that they're like the Mighty Ducks Bash Brothers, and they start wrecking shit. It's pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, I think the Edge of the Venomverse was more of an interesting story than the main story. Because like I said, you get this character development on these new versions of these heroes that we already know. This one's just like the main big battle. It's pretty cool. But to me, not as interesting as Edge. I enjoyed Edge of more. So this is where Deadpool, he brings in Carnage, making it think that he's bringing him in like he conquered him. It's a present, but really they just start wrecking shit. Here goes issue 5's cover, and that's it. So what's interesting is the way that this ends is that the heroes win, right? They basically are able to Rocket detonates this bomb. Here he goes right here, doing what he does best. That destroys all of them and sends our people back to their home world. So then Doom, who I said is like the main bad, he goes back somewhere and he says, "My lord, I failed. The sorcerer was lost." And you're like, oh shit, who's he reporting to? Bam. A venomized, poisonized Thanos. So it kind of leaves on a cliffhanger, like, hey, don't even worry about it. Doom, Doctor Strange has showed us that there's an infinite amount of universes with symbiotes, and we'll be all right. So here goes a cool Gustavo Duarte cover. This cover is cool, man. I would love to have a poster like this. This is a big, long, connecting cover. And there's characters that you don't have from here. Like, this is the Marvel Zombies Venom. That's the She-Venom from 2099. Space Venom there. What else do we got here? Looks like a Cosmic Venom back there. Yeah. Okay, then you have this cover was a dope variant, which was a Todd McFarlane Venom. I think it's from Amazing Spider-Man 300. It's like inside one of the panels. It's turned into a cover. You get this Venomverse one with Black Panther on it, and I can't really tell who that is. I'm not really a fan of that Venom. I think he did some artwork in the beginning of the newer... No, he didn't. I'm reading it right there. Oh, did he? Yeah. In the beginning of the current run, he was the artist, but now Bagley's on it. He was a Bagley cover right here, by the way. Doesn't really look like classic Bagley, but dope cover. He goes a good look at the Hulk. And just some other covers. All right, well, that's the overview and the review of Venomverse. Thanks for checking it out with me. I actually knocked these both out today, and I read Volume 3 of the ongoing Venom series. The guys in the live chat last night said it has Anti-Venom in here. Sure enough, doesn't. But these are the 3 volumes of the current Venom ongoing. But the third version, it has Mark Bagley back. So that was kind of dope. So I'm following this current Venom run. I'm probably going to start reading the Ben Reilly Spider-Man stuff. You guys know how I'm a fan of Scarlet Spider. But anyway, let me know what you thought in the comments. Getting a little slick with the editing here now. Trying to make it a little bit interesting. Have you read this? Did I ruin it for you? What'd you think? Did I miss something? Probably did. Speaking of Anti-Venom, actually the Prime 1 Anti-Venom is supposed to ship tomorrow. So hopefully it gets here Friday. You would hope it's a 3-day thing. Gets here Friday so I could do an unboxing, review, close-ups, and all that good shit. Supposed to get XM Studios Magneto Thursday as well, but it's coming from North Dakota, and I guess they're snowed in over there, so hopefully it doesn't delay it too long. Yeah, but that's it. So if it's your first time here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Make sure to hit that like button. Go ahead and like Gem Mint Collectibles on Facebook so you can get exclusive content and promotion on when we're going to do our next live show. We usually do them on Sundays. We're going to do it this Sunday, and I don't think we're going to have a theme. I think the theme is going to be drinking beers, talking comics, letting Milton the Manimal catch up on his regular pull list instead of having to read all the shit that we're making him read for the show. And same with me. I think I'm going to read X-Men Avengers Onslaught just because I never read it. I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to read Messiah Complex, Messiah War, Second Coming. I got those OHCs coming in. Anyway, that's enough rambling on from your boy. I've been Gem Mint. This is Gem Mint Collectibles. Stay minty fresh. Peace.